Hello everyone, you're welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. So today we'll be making a school bag. On this channel I share sewing tutorials, but today I'll be making school bag. So as long as you know how to use a sewing machine, you can always sew anything, okay? So if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, do well to hit on the subscribe button to be part of this wonderful family. I am Vivian. So let's get started. So I just broke down everything. Yes, what you can see here is just what we need to cut on our fabric. Okay, so number one is what you can see here, and the measurement we have here is 17 by 15, and we need two of this. Okay, that's what it simply means. So it was just like a rectangle. Then I just came down by 1.5 inch and trimmed the upper part, and that's what you can see here. And we have two pieces of it with the lining. So you cut your main fabric and you cut your lining as well. Okay, so let's proceed. Now for this very size, it depends on what you actually want. So for this size, it's a bag that can contain a laptop and like a school, a long note. Okay, so this is a laptop. You can see how the laptop fits into it. So this is just to give you idea of the size of the bag. So here we have 17 inches by 15 inches. So it's for school actually, okay, not just for carrying a laptop, it's for school. So I considered the long note of the kids. Okay, so this school bag, secondary school child can take it up to primary, let's say primary 3 to 6. So for the younger ones, theirs will be a bit smaller, like those in nursery and primary 1. Okay, so I hope you understand. So you can actually use an old school bag. You can measure an old school bag to give you idea of what you want. So it just a matter of the size you want. So for this very size, we'll be cutting out some other parts of it. So if you notice, I marked here and here. So what I did was measure 9 inches. Okay, so this side will be the upper part of the bag where we fix our zipper. So this very measurement is not standard. It all depends on what you want, how you want the bag to open up. Okay, so when you open it, how open you want it to be. So you can actually go higher, you can come lower. So depending on what you want. So once it that by the time we zip it open, it can open well, and the kids can just put his or her books inside. So you can actually go higher if you want, but this is just okay for me. So 9 inches from the lower part. Okay, I marked it. So now let's move to number 1A. This is number 1. So for number 1A, I have cut out the strap that I need for it. Okay, and this is it. So this is my number 1A, which is the down. So if you notice, I wrote down, it's the down part of the bag. So this one would come this way from here to this side. Okay, so what I did was to measure what I have here from this point. From this point, I measured all the way to this point, then added 2 inches to the measurements. Okay, so measure what you have from here to here, you add 2 inches. So it's better to have excess. By the time you're done joining it, you can trim out than for it to be short. Okay, so that is what I have here, like so. Okay, so this is the side, the lower part. Then for our number 1B, what I have, so for this number 1A, it measures 35 inches. So 35 inches, that is the measurement I have here, plus 2 gave me 35 inches. Then the 6 inches is the width. Okay, so this width depends on how wide you want your school bag to be. So all the measurement I have here include the stitching allowance, because we need to stitch. Okay, so by the time you take in like ½ inch to stitch, you'll be getting the actual measurement of your bag. So what I have here is 6 inches, okay, by 35. So number 1B, so I grouped it as number 1, then 1A, 1B, because this ones will be going to this very part. Okay, so for 1B is what we'll have at the top here. Okay, so let me get it. This is number 1B. So it will be from here to this other side plus 2 inches. Okay, so the measurement, you measure it this way. Remember what I have here is 2, front and the back. Okay, so what we are cutting for this is 1, because we are joining, we're using it to connect the back and the front. So that is the side of the bag. So this is the upper part. Now measure from here to this point and add 2 inches to it. So now if you notice, I marked it, okay, because this is the part that will carry the zipper. So we need to cut it open and fix our zipper. So what I did is still 6 inches like the other one. Okay, yeah, 6 inches. Then from this point to this point is 2.5. we want one side to be bigger than the other. Okay, so from this point to this point is 2.5 inches. So we're going to cut it open and fix our zipper there, and this will come at the top like so. So this bigger part would be the side that will relax at the back, okay, while the smaller side will be the outer side. So when I'm stitching all this, I would show you, that is, I would show you the arrangement. Okay, so we are done for number one, 1A and 1B. So let's go to number 2. Number 2 is sort of the pockets for the school bag. So number 2 would come here. Okay, number 2 would come here like so. Okay, and the measurement for the number 2 is 13 by 10.5. So actually this very one is a matter of choice. You can make it small, it can be just small around here. Okay, you can make it whatever size. So I just want it a bit big so that, you know, the child, it can be useful for the child. You can just like put your novels and some other smaller things here. So I've also cut out the lining for this one. Okay, so for each of these things I cut out, I also cut out lining. So we have the main fabric and the lining fabric. So I just cut out everything. Okay, then for this very pocket, we also have the side. Okay, so for the side, it's measured. I measured all around it. Okay, so I measured all around it. And whatever I got, I added 2 inches to reach. Remember, I said it's better for it to be excess, you can trim out. Okay, so I just measured from one point like this. I measured and I came back to that point, added 2 inches to it, and what I have is 47. Okay, so that's for 7, and the side is also 6 inches. Now I said unfold because for this very one we'll be folding the side. So let me get it. This is it here. Okay, so this is 6 inches. We'll be folding it. We'll be folding it so I can have a neat work. We'll fold it this way before joining it. Okay, by the time we stitch it, we'll then join it to the back like this. So you see everything when I'm doing it. Okay, so that is for number 2 and 2A. Okay, I've shown you. So for number 3, we have a strap that is 17 by 3.5, and this is the handle for the bag. That is the bag handle. Okay, so this is it here. So for each handle, I cut out 2 pieces. This one piece, this is one handle. I have 2 pieces here. One handle will have 2 pieces here. So for this one, we don't need lining. Okay, and now this is what I did. Remember, I said this side, that is the width here, is 3.5, and or should this side become, this is the length. Okay, this side is the length and this is the width, whichever. But the measurement we have here is just the same length with the bag. Okay, so that's what I want to make you understand. It's the same length with the length of the bag. So that is the handle, okay, for carrying the bag. So it's the same length. So at this side now, I just, see what we have here. See the shape. Okay, what I simply did was just fold it this way and cut out a little bit. Maybe take like ½ inch inward and just trim it out like this. Okay, so by the time you cut it, it will now give you this shape. So let me use this one. This one is clearer to give you the shape like this. Okay, so for this one, we'll stitch it. We'll stitch from one side like this. We'll stitch to the other side, leaving here open. So from here, we can fill in the handle with anything like pieces of fabric, foam, wadding, or anything that can make it soft. Okay, because we want it to be comfortable when the child is carrying the bag. So we'll fill it from this side, just pumping things inside, try to be soft. And the fabric I'm using is thick. Okay, it's very, very thick. This is chair cover. Okay, that is upholstery cover. So this was gotten from furniture making shop where they sell chair covers. Okay, so if you're not using a thick fabric, you can use foam. Yeah, that is foam, like ½ inch foam, to make your bag thick or strong. So this very fabric is very, very thick and it looks padded. If you see the back of the fabric, you can see it's very, very thick. So you use a fabric like this for bag, it will be very nice. And that's why I'm not adding foam or wadding. So if you're using light fabric, in between your lining and the main fabric, there should be foam or something like wadding. Okay, good. So this is it for the handle. Then we have our number 4, which is 3 by 3 inches. And this is it. Sorry, 3.5 by 3.5. This is it. Okay, so for this one, it is where we'll also attach our belt for the handle of our bag. Okay, so you see all this. So we have other accessories here as well, like the belts. Have a belt like this. So you see where I'll make use of this. Okay, and the measurement will be needed. So now let's go ahead and start making our bag. So we'll start with the back. So I'll just put every other thing aside and pick one part for the back. Okay, so just pick one side for the back. So let's use this very one for the back. So now we have our lining under it. So I'll go ahead and stitch the lining to the fabric so it will just be in place. It become one piece. Okay, so when we're done stitching this one all around, we'll move to making the handle. So I want to first of all finish with the back before we go to the front. Okay, so for this handle, like I've shown to you, you will stitch here. I want you to see what I'm doing clearly. So it has to be good sides facing each other. Okay, so you have to turn it good sides facing each other. Then we'll go ahead and stitch like this, okay, all the way down here and like this, okay, leaving this side open. For turning it, we use it to turn to the other side and filling it as well. So let me go ahead and do this and I'll show you the next thing to do. Okay, so I have stitched it round, that is stitching the lining and the main fabric, so it has become one piece, as you can see now. Okay, so this is the back part, the back side of the bag. And like I said about the handle, I've gone ahead to also stitch it. So I just stitched it by 1/4 of an inch on both sides. That is, I just used 1/4 of an inch. So I'll just turn it to the other side by using something to just push it out like this. Okay, so this is what we have. So you can go ahead and give it a good press if you want. Okay, so by the time we turn it, this is what we have now, our handle. So remember I said we're going to fill it up so it can, to be comfortable when the child is putting it on. So I have this. So I don't know, it's called fiber. Okay, so you can actually use this. You can see it's called fiber for filling in like pillows and all that. So you can either use this one or use foam or wadding, whatever you think you can use, even pieces of fabric, you can just fill it. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to start filling it in. So another one thing you can do is you can measure what you have, just cut it and insert it. Like if you're using wadding, you can just cut it and insert it inside. Same with foam. I feel you can see the difference between this one and this one. This one is just there, while this one is foamy. Yeah. So I'll leave 1/2 inch here for stitching it. So by the time you have filled in your whatever you're using to fill it, you can go ahead and stitch on it so that it can stay it can just stay firm inside. So depending on what you're using, okay, so it can stay firm inside. But this is just okay. So the reason I'm saying that is if you're using like pieces of foam, it might be moving around. So by the time you stitch on it, it will just stay in place. But I'm just okay with what I have here. So I'll go ahead and also fill this one. So we are good to go. Okay, so at the lower part you can actually leave a little space depending on what you're using. If what you're using is very thick, you can leave a little space here because we're going to stitch something here now. So let me show you what we're stitching there. So this is the belt. Okay, so we'll be stitching it here. Okay, and they also have this accessory, this very accessory. You can see this. Okay, you find it in school bags, so you can actually take this off from old school bag or you buy it from bag. There are shops that sell things for making bags, so you can get this there. So we need two, one for this side and one for this other side. So we're going to cut our belt. I'll measure 6 inches and cut out. We'll be cutting out 2 of it. So you just take it like this. Okay, so when you have done this, you pass it through this. Okay, so this side will be facing down for the other belt that would go to the bag. So you just pass this. Look at what I did. Just pass it in like this. Like this, okay, and you fold it. Okay, so now we'll be stitching it here. So make sure it's coming out a bit from the bag handle. So this one can be folded. You see why I say we'll be needing a very big needle and strong needle, because by the time you fold all these things, it will become thick. So you fold it here. Okay, so about 1/2 inch is okay. Then you place it here like this. You can see, you place it. So let me just take measurement so that everything will be clear to you. You can take 1.5 inch, 1.5 inches. Okay, that will be where you'll be stitching this one to, like this, at the center of the handle. So I'll pin it. So this is all we have, you can see. Okay, so for the other side of the bag, that is for this bag, this one now will do same to this other one. So for this one now, remember I showed you our number 4, that is 3.5 by 3.5, just a square piece of fabric that you would cut. Okay, so let me get it. So this is it. You cut 2. Okay, you cut 2 of it. So this is what we'll be doing with this one now. You fold it like this and you fold it like this again. So but before folding, we need to cut out our belt. So I'll take about 15 inches. Okay, so you can even take more depending on how you want to be able to adjust the bag. Okay, so let's just use 20 inches. So I'll cut 20 inches. So we need 2 of it. So the belt, the accessories and everything can be gotten from place where they sell things for making bags. Okay, we also have a zipper and the zipper head. So we have 2 of the belt here. So now remember your fabric, I said you fold it triangle, like a triangle like this, then you fold again. So remember this is measured 3.5 by 3.5. So by the time you have folded it, you see this part. Okay, that is where you insert the belt. Just insert your belt here. So I'll hold it with pin as well so that we can proceed to stitching it. So I'm just using pin to hold it, okay? So that when I go to stitch it, it will be clearer to you. So by the time you insert that one, you just stitch on it. Stitch it very well so that this will be firm, it won't move out, okay? Then we'll come here now, the back side of the bag, remember? Then at this lower part, step up by 2 inches. So just step up by 2 inches and you mark. Okay, so now you're fixing this one from here. From the 2 inches, you place this one and stitch it. Okay, so I'll just be arranging everything because I can't actually move my camera to the sewing area. So I'm trying to just pin it down so you have an idea of what I'm doing here. Okay, so by the time you stitch this one, just stitch it here. Okay, I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. Just stitch it to the bag like this. Then this one now, the belt, will be used to adjust the bag. So we'll be stitching this one here, and this one would come this way like this to go under here, like so, and come out here like so. Okay, for adjusting the length of the bag. Okay, so I hope you can see this. You can see for adjusting the length of the handle, sorry. So depending on how long or short you want your handle to be. So when you have fixed this one, for this side now, you just fold it like this and you top stitch. Okay, so the reason for doing this is so that no matter how the child pull on this, it won't come out from this place. So it's just as if you're creating a stopper. Okay, so you just go ahead and stitch it. So no matter how the child pull it, it will just stop here. It won't come out of it, because sometimes it gives them problem when they keep pulling and pulling. They just pull it and they won't be able to fix it back. So it's okay like this. You can see what we have here. We're gradually getting there. We'll do same for this other side. So I'm just like explaining everything to you so you know what to do. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stitch the handle, but before that, just fold this and find the midpoint. Okay, you find the midpoint. You also want to add a handle, belt handle here that you can also use to hang the bag on the wall or something like that. Okay, so we'll cut out what we need for that. So you just depend on how long you want it, but it shouldn't be too long. So something like this is okay. Okay, size like this is just okay. And sometimes not only for hanging, sometimes the kid might decide to just carry it here. So you just have something like this. Okay, so this is okay. Let's cut it out. And then you also need to consider the allowance for joining it. So just add a little more and we'll cut it out. So from this midpoint, you can measure like 1.5 inch and 1.5 inch. So when you have marked it this way, you get your belt. Okay, so have 10 inches here. So what you do is this: you bring this one, you place it beginning from where we have the 1.5 inch and this one as well. Then the belt will be on top like this to form another handle where you can just hold it back. Okay, so we place this one here. Then you can just mark the midpoint of this one and set your belt at the midpoint like this of this one. Then let me pin it down. We'll go ahead and stitch it to the bag. Okay, like this, and you bring this one and you just place it. So just take it like this and place it, okay, at the midpoint, and go ahead to stitch. I'm just holding a pin for you to see what we have there. So you can see this handle for holding it, for in case you just want to hold it back. Okay, good. So you can do it this way, and you can also decide to just bring the handle closer. So it all depends on what you want. Sometimes you find the handles coming closer like this, so that is to that midpoint. So let's do this one and see what it looks like. So making bag, there's no specific style. Okay, there are different styles of school bag. So if you hold this one there, you can also bring this one to meet the midpoint there as well, and place the handle, then pin it. So you just try anything and see what you have, see what it's going to look like. Okay, then, or you can also take a look at the old school bags you have and see what they have there. So now I'm just trying to create my own. That's why I'm trying out, different things. So I think this is better when it's coming to the center of the bag like this. Is better. Okay, it's better. Because you also need to consider comfort when carrying the bag. Like, it should be comfortable. Okay, so it should be comfortable. So I think I'll go with this. What do you think? This is a handle for hanging it on the wall, or sometimes the child might need to just carry it this way instead of hanging it at the back. Okay, so we also have this. We'll do same for this one here, and our back will be done. So let me go ahead and stitch this together so I see what we finally have here. Okay, then we'll proceed to making the front. So I'm done stitching the back part now, as you can see. So everything I explained, I've done it. Okay, so let's just do a recap. Remember, I told you to stitch here. It serves as a stopper, both for the belt not to come out from here, and also stops it from fraying. Okay, so we are done with this. And for this, I stitched here, as you can see. You can see the stitch I made, so it will be very firm here, because this is the handle. Don't want it pulling out. Then on this side, you can see what I've done. So the bag can be carried like this, and everything is set. And this side, you see what I did here. Okay, so this is it for the back side of our bag. Now to the front, without wasting any time, let's keep this aside. So come to the front. Now we're going to work on the pockets, okay, before we move to the other parts. So for this very pocket, we are going to cut it. So this is the upper side. Okay, this is the upper part. We're going to cut it so that we can fix zipper. Okay, yes, so we want to have zipper here. So let me get my zipper and show you. So we're having zipper somewhere here. Okay, so that we'll have most part of the pocket containing something much. So we can also shift it up like this. So let me mark 1.5 inch from the top here. That's from this point. So let's use 1.5 inch. Okay, so let's connect it. So this is it. So now I'm going to cut it. And remember, I have the lining under. Okay, so I'll just cut it together. I'll just cut it together so that we'll have the lining and the pockets. So this is what we have. Okay, so for our zipper, the kind of zipper I'm using is the one that you can fix the head. So have a zipper head here. So you can actually buy this type, or you buy the one that the head has been fixed already. So for this one, we are going to fix our zipper head. So it's very easy to fix. You can see we have it here already. Okay, so you can decide to do two opening. That is, if you want to have sort of opening this side and opening this other side, or you can just use one. So whichever one you like. So what you will do is you measure the length of zipper you need. Okay, Okay, so I'll just use one not to waste our zipper head. One is okay. But the advantage of using two at times is if one zipper head has issue, the other one can zip up the bag. So you can actually do it, and it also helps for locking up the bag if you have two zipper head. So you can use two. So what you do is just take the measurements you have and cut it out. Okay, so you can just add excess. By the time you're done, you can trim it out. So let's use two zipper head. So I have my two zipper head. Okay, so we're going to stitch it here. We're going to stitch it here. So what you do now, you can just take one of it. Okay, you take the lining aside, you place your zipper. This is how you're going to do it. You place your zipper like this. Okay, then you bring the lining and you place it. Then you go ahead and stitch. Okay, so make sure your zipper is well aligned. So just like sandwiching the zipper in between the lining and the main fabric, and the upper part of the zipper should face your main fabric. So I'll pin it down and I'll go ahead and stitch it. Okay, so the same thing we did to this side is what we'll do to this other side as well. So I'll just hold it with pin so that you see what it looks like. Then I'll go ahead and stitch. So everything I'm pinning down is just what I need to stitch. Okay, so the same way I have pinned it is the same way it will be stitched. So there's nothing difficult about that. Okay, so I have pinned it down. Okay, so the way I pinned it is how I'll go ahead and stitch. So just stitch. You can stitch it close to the teeth of the zipper. Okay, so by the time you're done stitching, you push your lining back inside and your zipper would be like this. Okay, so you have it like this. Okay, and on this side you have it like this. So the same thing we did for this, the same thing we're going to do for this one as well. So you just take the good side, flip it over to this point. So now you can actually notch this. You can notch it to make sure that you're stitching at the midpoint. So let's mark it here. Okay, then you also fold this one. You mark the midpoint so that you can align it well. So like this. Okay, and just place it like this, that would align at the end here. Okay, so you also do same for the lining piece. Do same for the lining piece. So remember that our zipper is we are sandwiching the zipper in between the main fabric and the lining. So by the time this one has come like this, the lining will be at the other side like this. Then we'll go ahead and also stitch. So it's just the same thing we did for the bigger parts. That's what we're also doing here. But because I'm not going to show you the stitching area, that is why I'm pinning it so that it will be clear to you. Okay, I'll go ahead and also stitch it, and by the time I'm done, I'll turn it this way and the lining will also come this way. So at this other side you'll be having a clean work. So you can see that we have sealed up, or we have hidden the rough edges by doing it this way, and these are zipper teeth or zipper head. So we'll have it this way. So when we have done it this way now, we'll go ahead and stitch up everything. So after stitching your zipper, you can now go ahead and stitch everything all round. Okay, so let me just go ahead and stitch it. I believe this is clear to you. How to achieve this is very clear to you. Let me go ahead and stitch. So I'm done stitching it. And you can see what we have. These are zipper and a pocket. Okay, so at this other side have our lining. You can see now there are different types of bags. If you want to create another pocket at the top here, okay, so what you will do is you just cut another lining and stitch over this one. Okay, so that when you open up this part, you'll be seeing a pocket. Then when you open up the upper part, you see another pocket. So the second line you'll be putting over it to create the second pocket. While you open here, you'll be seeing what you'll be seeing is something like this. But this time around, I'm not stitching any other pocket to it. So this one will just be on top of the front side of the bag like this. Okay, so this one will be on the front. So when you open it, this is what you'll be seeing. Okay, so I hope this is understood. So let's stitch the sides. So I also stitched this place to secure our zipper head that it won't go out. So remember, this is our number 2, okay, and 2A is the size, which measures 47 inches by 6 inches. They will have to fold it, okay, to give us 3 inches. So let me get that particular one. So we'll have it here. Okay, so this is it. So what we'll do right now is this: we'll fold it. Okay, by the time we fold it, we'll mark the midpoint of this one. Just fold it like this and mark the midpoint. Okay, you can do it inside. And the midpoint. Then we'll fold this one. By the time we fold it, we'll stitch it to this. So I'll leave like 1 inch. Okay, I'll leave about 1 inch. About 1 inch. Then I'll start stitching like this. Okay, so by the time I'm done stitching, this is what I'll have on this side. So just go like this, stitch it all the way. Okay, so since we started here, we'll stitch all the way and come back there. Okay, so this 1 inch that I left is just the excess for closing it, and I'll show you how to do that. So I'll just go ahead and fold this. So you can decide to fold it and just stitch on it, then you go ahead and stitch all around, or you do it at once, whichever one. So let me go ahead and stitch it, and it will be clearer to you. So remember, I said just give like 1 inch and you go ahead and stitch all around. Okay, so the measurement for this, like I explained initially, is I measured round the pocket and I added extra 2 inches to it. Then the width is 6 inches. So that by the time we fold it, we'll have 3 inches. So I'll also tell you the reason for folding it. It's so that when we are stitching it to the main bag, okay, this side will be neat. And then folding it to also make it, firm. So that is the essence. So let me go ahead and stitch it and it will be clearer to you. So you can see I started stitching from here. I left 1 inch and I stitched all the way. Okay, so you can see when you come to the point, that is the side that is just straight, you will curve it, okay, and you move like that all the way like this, and I came back here. Okay, so you can see what we have left. So what we'll do now is just to fold it like this. See what I'm doing, because we want to close it up. So just bring it together like this. Okay, just bring it together like this, and go ahead and stitch it. So remember that this is where I started from, where you have the white chalk. Okay, so if you look at it, you have this one inside. So just come out a bit and stitch from like this, so that by the time we're done stitching it, we'll now close it up. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. Let me hold it with my pin. Fabric is very, very strong. So let me try. So like you stitch it like this. Okay, by the time you're done stitching it, now you see that this place is like this. You then, after stitching it, I'll cut out the excess, then run my stitch on it like this. Okay, so that I would end up stitching everything, and inside we'll have it this way. So by the time we are done, this is what it should look like. This side will be stitched. So we'll have a pocket like this. This is another small school bag. You can see them. That will open it to have it. So let me just finish this one up. I'll then show you how to stitch it to the main bag. Okay, so let me just go ahead and finish up this one. So you can see what we have here. So now when I'm done closing off this side, in order to finish up this rough edge, you can either use the belt, that is this belt, to knitting it up like bias. So you can use this belt as bias tape to just knitting it up all around like this. You just place it and you stitch it, or you cut your lining and do that. Okay, so whichever one, but I will go ahead and just finish it up and show you. So whichever whatever I decide to use, you will see it. Okay, so one more thing I forgot to mention, there was no need for lining inside this one. So remember that when I brought it out, I had lining on it like this, so there was no need for that lining since we folded it. Okay, so that was a mistake. Actually, when I was cutting it, I also cut that lining for it. There was no need, unless maybe you just need the lining inside it to make it firm. But apart from that, since I folded it, there was no need for me to have lining in it, and that's why I removed the lining, so I can go ahead and cut the lining and use it to pipe the edge to make it neat. So whichever one. Okay, so I'm done stitching it. So you can see this side, and I piped the rough edges using my lining. Okay, I just cut from the lining, folded it over it, and then piped the rough edges so it to be neat. Okay, also did same to this side, and this is what we have inside our pocket bag. So the next thing now is to stitch it to the front part. Okay, so we're going to remove our lining. So I'll just remove the lining so that we can just stitch the pocket to the back before we now use our lining to cover up the stitch that you make. But it doesn't matter, you can still, go ahead and stitch your lining to make it one piece. Then you add your pocket back. So the only thing is that the stitch will show here, which doesn't matter, but I just want to remove it aside. Okay, then I would place this. So this is the upper part of our bag. So it's going to stay like this on it. Okay, so what I'll do right now is to find the midpoint of this one and the midpoint of this. Then I'll step up a little bit, like 2 inches. Okay, so we'll start stitching from 2 inches, and on this side as well we can come in by 2 inches. Okay, and stitch. So first of all, let's find the midpoint of this one. Here's the midpoint. Then step up by 2 inches, starting here. Okay, and this as well is our midpoint where we stitched it, but you can still fold it to find, because sometimes after doing some stitches you might end up having some mix up, like to no longer be equal again. So it's actually still there. Okay, so connect it like this, just pin it down here. So we're just going to top stitch. We're going to top stitch. Okay, so that's why I actually folded the sides so that to be neat by the time we stitch. So I'm going to top stitch here. Then on this side, so this one would stay here. On the sides, remember I said we're coming by 2 inches. So the pin is not, let's just, this one will be here, like this. So on this side, we're coming by 2 inches as well. Okay, so let's mark it. So let's just mark it 2 inches. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're just going to follow the mark. Okay, we're going to follow the mark like this and stitch. But this side is a bit curvy, so we'll just follow the curve and we'll do same to this side. So now we can pin it. So by the time I pin it, I try to check if my bag will still maintain its structure after stitching by that 2 inch I came in. Okay, so this is what we have. You can see the side. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so 2 inches is okay. 2 inches is okay. So actually, I'll just go and stitch it. While I'm stitching, I'll be adjusting it. Because sometimes, let's see, you can actually increase this to 2.5 and see what it's going to give, because we need this part to stand and not bend. Okay, like this. So I will increase it to 2.5. That is, I'll go in by 2.5. So let me use 2.5. That is, I'll add ½ inch again from this one. I don't know if you understand. So I'll come in by ½ inch. The reason is I don't want the pocket bag to just go flat. So I hope this is clear. Okay. So but for here, we'll leave it at that 2 inches. Leave it at 2 inches here. It's still starting from 2 inches like this. Then it goes in like this. Okay. So I think this is better. It's maintaining the structure now. So I'll go ahead and stitch it. So how to stitch is this: you just place it on the sewing machine, you start stitching. You stitch here, then you follow the curve. Okay, so this will go like this, since it's going to meet here. So it will go like this. Okay, go like this, like that. Okay, when it gets to this point, it's also going to curve. Okay, and continue going. Same with this side. It's going to curve here and meet this line and continue. So just continue stitching like this. Okay, just a little bit at the almost close to the edge of the back, like that. That is close to the edge of this side. So I'll just continue. I'll go like that. Okay, so let me go ahead and stitch it, and you understand it better. So now you can see the mark I made. So that is how it will go. This is how it will go, like this. So let me do that. So I can always clean up this chalk when I'm done stitching. So let me just go and fix it on that line that I made. Okay, so you can see this. Our bag is beginning to look beautiful already. So let's stitch it and I'll come back to show you. So I'm done stitching it. You can see what we have here now. Okay, so you can see this. And this part would contain even some more exercise books and some other things like their snacks, pen, every other thing. So you can see it. Okay, this is our pocket. Very beautiful. And you can see that it is standing because of the way I had to go in a bit to stitch. And you can see how I stitched it. I don't know if you can see this, very close to the edge here, so everything will appear neat. So I can go ahead and clean off the other chalk line. Okay, so when you have done this now, you now stitch your lining to it. Okay, so this is just the mark it made. It doesn't matter, like I said, but the good thing about removing your lining is so that after stitching you have it squeezing. Yes, so it's better to just keep it aside. So now we can go ahead and stitch our lining all around. Okay, by the time we're done stitching the lining all around, what will be left will be to fix our sides. Remember, I marked this point for a reason. Okay, I measured from the lower part to that point is 9 inches, and that's where we'll have the base of the bag, and from here we'll have the upper part that would hold the zipper. Okay, so let me go ahead and stitch my lining. So in order not to waste time, I would go ahead to explain the other parts. So let's assume I've stitched my lining, so we'll get the lower part. So I marked it to differentiate it. This is up, that is the up part, and remember I told you I have measured what I need and our zipper will be here. So I will cut it open. When I cut it open, the same way I stitched this zipper here, remember how I stitched my zipper here? That is what I will do here. By the time I cut it open, sandwich my zipper in between the main fabric and the lining and stitch, do same for this side and stitch, so it will look like this one. So remember, you can actually go back to the video and check. You can see that inside it is neat. Okay, so we want to also achieve that on the upper zipper. So I'll do that today. After doing that, we'll now stitch it like this, just almost what we did here. Almost what we did here, that's what we're going to do. So I'll also show you what to do by the time we get to this point. Okay, now for the lower part, I'll go ahead and do the same thing I did for this one. I'll leave 1 inch, then I'll start stitching. So remember, good sides facing each other. So it is necessary that this one have the lining. Okay, so you leave 1 inch. So you can always measure. You leave 1 inch, then you start stitching from here. Connect it like this, and you stitch. Okay, so remember the width is 6 inches, then the length is what we have from here all around plus 2 inches, and that's why I'm leaving 1 inch. Okay, so by the time when the upper one comes, they meet at this point, we'll close it up. So just continue watching, don't skip any part of this video because there are more things you need to learn. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stitch it up to this point like I did for this pocket side. So let me do that, then we'll attend to the top. Okay, let's attend to this part. Okay, so I'm done joining the sides like I explained. You can see, okay, from one point that I marked to the other points, I joined the lower side, and for the upper side, remember how I told you to fix your zipper? So I did that. You can see, so you can see what we have here. Okay, so I also joined it from one side to the other. So this is what we have now. So we have this space here like this. So this is how we're going to do it, just like what we did at this lower side for this one. Just going to fold it together. Okay, so just fold it this way. Then we stitch it. So remember, because of the zipper, this very front part would reduce a bit. So by the time we have joined it, we'll now trim out the excess we have from this other side to make everything align. Okay, so you just fold it together like this and you stitch, so that after stitching it you can now sew this side. So I hope you understand what I'm doing. So I'll hold it with pin. So this is just where I will stitch. on the inside, this is what you see. Okay, so by the time you have stitched here, you now go back and complete your stitching on this side. Then on this other side to top stitch like this. So I hope you're following your top stitch. Okay, so do same on this side as well. So by the time I'm done stitching, we'll have our bag looking like this. Okay, so mine is not standing very well because I didn't use foam or any hard material to place in between the lining and the main fabric. So if you want it to be like such a bag that will just be standing, you have to add something to add structure to it. But this is just okay for me. So by the time you are done stitching the sides, you will then bring the back part. That is this part. Okay, and you place it. Then go and stitch it all around. So before you do that, you need to find the midpoint of this by folding it from the sides, like these sides. You just place them together, and that way you get the midpoint. So you can notch it or you just mark it. Okay, so let me mark it. This is the midpoint. You do same to this side as well. Mark it. Okay, so you also do same to this back part. Just fold it and you mark it. Do same to the top. So you fold it and mark it. So when you're done, you now connect them. Okay, so this is the upper part. You have to connect it to the upper part. So good sides facing each other, I hope you know. Okay, you're going to place it this way. Make sure everything is inside. You can hold this side down with your pin so that it doesn't come out while you're stitching. So you now match midpoint to midpoint like so. Okay, and hold it with your pin before going to stitch. Do same to this side. Midpoint to midpoint. Hold it. So when you have connected the up and the down, you also connect the sides. Connect the sides as well, and connect the sides as well. Then you just go and stitch all around. So let me do just that, then I'll show you the next thing to do. Okay, so guys, our bag is ready. So you can see how I piped the edges. So I used belts, this belt, to pipe it all around so I can have neat edges inside. You can see everything looking so neat. Even this other side, I piped it with my lining. Okay, so now we'll open it, but before then, let me show you the previous bag I did. So I did this initially and I saw that it is good. Then I decided to make a tutorial on how I made the bag. Okay, so this is the first one that I made. So you can see it. This is the first one that I made. See how it is, and this is the leftover fabric. So now let me open this one so that we'll see what it looks like. So from here, we'll open it. Okay, just open it and bring out, that is, turn it to the other side. So this is it. Okay, so you can see this one. So I hope you like this video. Please give it a like, okay, and share with your friends. Yes, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. Okay, so yes, this is our backpack, and like I said, this is the first one that I made. You can see the handle for carrying it here. Okay, and the pockets. All right, guys, this is it for our bag. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video. Remain blessed.